They're definitely not going to tell you about this warning from the Federal Reserve, but I will, especially since I can definitely read between the lines when we have Jerome Powell here on the show.
One of our goals is to influence spending and investment decisions today and in the months ahead. That will only be the case if people understand generally what we're saying and what it means for their own finances. So by educating students about economics, not only are you providing them with valuable skills to manage their finances and improve their chances for future success in any number of occupations, you're also giving them the knowledge that they need to understand the macroeconomy, including the implications of the decisions that we make around this table here at the Fed.
I want you to remember that he wants students to understand macroeconomy. Remember that for later, all right? It's very important that you watch this entire video because I'm gonna blow your minds with something that happened in this meeting.
What is macroeconomics? Macroeconomics is a branch of economics that studies the economy as a whole, not just individual markets and industries. It looks at how things like unemployment, inflation, and GDP affect the lives of people in a country, and how different sectors in an economy interact and influence each other. Macroeconomics can be applied to any country, region, or group of countries. Some of the topics studied in macroeconomics are the relationships between national income, production, and consumption, and how they are influenced by government policies. The effect of international trade on macroeconomic variables, such as employment, wages, and prices, and the effect of inflation on economic growth.
Now, I'm sure that a lot of you guys are probably wondering, what's the warning there, right? Note that he wants these teachers to teach students about why they do what they do, because I'm guessing that there's a lot of folks, entire households even, that don't know what the Fed does. They're just seen as a money printing machine that goes on the news whenever inflation's high. Not a lot of people get them, you know what I'm saying? But here's a very shocking revelation. Did you know that the Federal Reserve, even though they're called that, aren't even part of the federal government? They're not. Anyone out there shocked? I know that this isn't breaking news, but a lot of people didn't know that. It's kind of like calling a plan inflation reducing, but the price of goods continues to shoot up. It doesn't even remotely make sense, right? Now, if this is your first time here on the channel and you're surprised by the knowledge that you've gained already within the first few minutes, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to turn on notifications and smash the like button so that we can get even more people, even more like-minded people who want the truth to be in this community. Appreciate the support and the love, you guys. But let's go ahead and go back to Jerome Powell. He said before that we're in for a lot of pain. This was about a year ago.
Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell delivering a very clear message this morning. The Fed is going to use its tools to forcefully attack inflation, which, remember, is still near its highest level in more than 40 years. He warned that that may cause some pain for households and businesses, as well as a softer job market. Take a listen.
While the latest economic data have been mixed, in my view, our economy continues to show strong underlying momentum. The labor market is particularly strong, but it is clearly out of balance, with demand for workers substantially exceeding the supply of available workers.
For anybody who might be wondering why I still remember all these little statements, well, let's just say that I'm just kind of the guy that remembers important data. Stuff that I can come back to so that I can show you guys exactly what they told us. And one important factor in the statement from Jerome Powell was the labor market, right? How it was so strong. But do you remember this?
The Bureau of Labor Statistics just out with payroll revisions, and it's going to be revised. It will be revised down by about 360,000 in the preliminary estimate. Joining us now from Morris Bloomberg's Michael McKee. Mike, can you put this number into context for us, please?
Yes, every month the Bureau of Labor Statistics reports on the number of jobs that were created by surveying companies around the country. And then once a year, they go back and look at the tax records those companies have to file, and then they can rebalance the numbers to get a more accurate count. It only goes through March of this year, the year prior, from March to March. And as you mentioned, 306,000 fewer jobs likely created during that time period.
Would you look at that? The job numbers aren't just wrong, they're 300,000 jobs wrong. And all this talk from Jerome Powell that teachers have to let kids know about what they do, right? It's basically just telling all of us that they're just here to crash the markets, simple as that.
Economic educators impart knowledge that's instrumental in how we promote a healthy economy. And in a way, when you teach students, you're also helping us conduct monetary policy. But you do so much more than that. Teachers illuminate the world for us. You help us to see the limitless possibilities in life, and as much as that, in ourselves. At a wonderful but also very vulnerable time in each of our lives, teachers like you are there to help us understand the world, especially when it's hard to understand.
Man, pandering much? But it's like saying that educators have to tell students that the Fed raises interest rates to basically cause as much economic havoc as they can, even though just years before they created this entire thing by printing out trillions of dollars, providing stimulus checks, low interest rates, and giving out cheap credit. Tell you what, if you think that this entire problem was created by just these past few years, comment a quick one down below. Now, remember what I said about Jerome Powell talking about macroeconomics and how students have to learn it so that they can fully understand what the Fed's doing? Well, he should probably take his own advice, because check this out.
Hello, Chairman Powell, and welcome from Marquette University High School in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. My question comes from my AP Economics students who would like to know, when you were taking undergraduate macroeconomics, what was your favorite topic to study? Thank you.
That's a hard question, because for me that was literally 52 years ago. And there's been a lot of water under the bridge since fall of 1971. A particular topic from macro that I found interesting. Oh man, let me answer now what I think is what I think. I really can't go back that far, but I can tell you today that a particularly interesting area for people who want to study is labor economics. So one of the great things about the labor market is there's a lot of data. I think the best data we get for things, GDP is really hard to track, really hard to accurately track GDP. We do, our economists, and not here at the Fed, but the people who do that, they do a great job. It's very hard to get it right.
I mean, do I really need to add more to that? Like, this is your guy? This is the guy that's going to cool inflation down to 2%? And here's the best part about all this. Even though you guys can clearly see that I wasn't kidding about how shocked you'll be with this footage, but Jerome Powell went out and said that this is the most transparent Fed we'll ever see. I'm not kidding, guys.
The other thing I'll point to is just transparency. When I was in college, central banks were a lot about mystery and keeping everybody on the back foot. And so it's got to be 35 years ago or so, a bunch of economists sort of made the case that actually it's much better to be transparent, because if financial market we work through, financial markets in the sense that markets react and financial conditions get looser or tighter and they become less or more supportive of economic activity. That's how our policies work and affect people's spending. So with more transparency, the argument was made, markets do that right away. If they actually understand what you're going to do, they don't even wait for the meeting. They know how the Fed is thinking. They know what the Fed will do, and financial conditions will change.
Well, I can't argue with them there, because, I've been telling you guys for the longest time that they're going to crash different markets with how loose that they've been. I've been talking about the housing market, the stock market, the labor market, small businesses, banks, all of them just crushed within a few short years. I've been talking about all of this for the longest time, and that's why I need more of you guys to listen. It's also why I need you to prepare for these opportunities. Crashes are always a precursor to wealth transfers, and you're going to see deals like you've never seen in real estate once all of these markets crumble. But hey, that's just me. I'm doing what I think is best for myself and for my family. I hope all of you are trying and succeeding in doing the same. So I want to thank you guys so much for being with me today. I appreciate you all. Thanks for dropping a like for the video. Thank you for subscribing. Take care, and I'm gonna see you guys on the next one.